Hey everybody, Shane here, daily-astrocat.com, and today is Friday. It's the 27th of March, and this is the birthday edition, my birthday. So anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate everybody's support and kindness and everything like that. We've been doing this for a long time, so we're going to keep on going. Got your astrology here for you today. And our moon, which was in Cancer, is going to be void of course at 7:40 in the morning. Void of course moon is going to enter Leo at 10:10 also in the morning. So it's a great day for kind of just kicking back and relaxing for the morning, right? Because in the afternoon, it's going to be all about you. That's that Leo moon, that dramatic Leo room, right? That dramatic Leo moon. You might as well fill the room, right? Moon, room. Anyway, look, don't overrule your urge to put your health on track, okay? The moon's going to square Chiron, but Venus has already been conjuncted. And we have to give Venus precedence in this particular instance because we have to use our powers to attract, right? And to attract, we have to be healthy. We have to be healed. We have to be able to help others to make ourselves attractive to others. So that's a nice thing to do. And it's also gives us some creative points too, right? Because we create from a position of health and beauty and balance. So that's really nice. I like that. Now, matter of fact, don't listen to the moon and be like, I don't want to. Double down on it. This is a very Aries thing to do. You can just go hard. Just remember, you don't want to walk away from it too soon, which is another very Aries thing. You do it for a week or so, or 2 weeks and go hard, and next thing you know, you just pull right back because it's no longer interesting. It's old. We need something new to stimulate us, right? Nah, you got to just stick to it. It's a hard thing to do, especially as an Aries, because my birthday's today, right? Yes, indeed. So sun sign Aries, by the way. So look, this is incorrect. We don't want to walk away from that. Look, fickle financial markets today, who knows? Fridays are always weird. There's always weird stuff that happens. Back in back in the day, it was always big announcements would come out or investigations or something like that, right? Now it's like, decided to bomb somebody or something silly like that, right? Yeah, Fridays are always like that. So think about this. We got to just anticipate pre-weekend insipidness in the news. Insipidness, I like that. Now, enough of that nonsense already, okay? Today, your creativity is going to get a boost as we begin to step into a new reality that our actions have brought about. See, we're starting to leave that spot where it was like struggling with it because, we want to go forward and we want it to be fiery and do all these things, right? But part of the essence of Aries, particularly in the early months, the early weeks, rather, early days, I should say, of Aries, is really just getting us, into transitioning from that water phase as we come forward, right? And there's a lot of strength in that water that we can draw from. Similarly, towards the end of Aries, we get into Taurus season and we start to get rooted and we can get a little bit more determined in what we want to do, right? As we start getting into that, because you'll have influences on both sides of the natal signs because, think about it. Mercury and Venus don't stray too far from the sun. So wherever the sun happens to be, you're going to be fairly within that scope, right? I believe it's about a 90-degree type of an angle. I think Mercury really doesn't get more than 60 degrees, so no more than 2 signs away from the sun, and then we'll swing back and forth depending upon the retrograde. It's actually dependent upon the Earth's rotation, Mercury's rotation, where they match up and where we start to overtake it and where Mercury overtakes us. So, with that being said, enough of that. All right, we can bring creativity about, and that's a good thing. We're going to use it. We need to use it. We need to use that intuitive, creative stuff to try to broaden the offerings, right? And this is an effort to do so because this podcast is going to be available early. You'll be able to dip into 1 or 2 or 3 days. Who knows? You can binge it all. Go back and listen to it the day of. Get a refresher on it. I find that that's very useful for myself, and hopefully it's very useful for you. All right, so today's keyword is astonishing. Okay, so let's be astonishing. The color is a white spotlight. Leo time. Hello, right there from the side of my face. You look at, it's daytime when I'm doing this, right? Spotlight. So anyway, seems like it's a spotlight anyway. Aries season sparkles in the spring sunshine. This is a long-awaited day, and it's one of both liberation and celebration. Unfortunately, it's going to rain here, but I'm okay with the rain. Flowers have bloomed, and we are 5 days away from the full moon. 5 days, count them, new moon in Libra. Okay, we've turned a corner, and now we begin to accelerate. Beauty and love are waiting for us. That's right, because harmony, maybe some peace. Who knows? A Libra moon? Let's culminate some peace for it, right? Let's at least make peace with ourselves and what we're doing and just settle into our creativity so we can move forward with it and expand it. Per Jupiter, per Mars. Actions, right? So, watch for signals this weekend. What kind of signals? Subtle ones, intuitive ones, things that will start catching your interest. Maybe, some synchronicities, so to speak, right? Or serendipitous happenings. Yes, we need to find something like that, right? Now, have you stepped into your new creative phase yet? Have you put something into use? Like, say, for example, this idea of releasing these podcasts all at once. Did you do it? Well, hopefully you're there. And if not, you got some time to still do so today. Look, now, how can we make the most of today's creativities? If you didn't, well, first of all, you got to make it all about you. The moon in Leo is asking you to take credit for your work. This isn't for shy people, right? Oh, I can hear so many people saying, oh my goodness, that's not me. Humble. I tend to veer on the side of the humility too. However, there's occasionally times where you just have to say, I am who I am and what I do. And this is who I am. Bam, I am. That's the Aries statement. Boom. I lead. I do. I'm the lion. It's great. It's drama, right? Yes, that's what we're going to be doing. So, look, this attitude, proudly show this to as many people as you can, because this attitude perpetuates growth, both personally and artistically. If we claim our station of where we're at and what our development is with our art and with our public-facing, whatever it is, how we're expressing ourselves creatively in a public-facing manner, that helps us to define what it actually becomes. The more times you tell your story, the more times you start to conform to it, right? Your job as an artist is to inspire. Your job as a human being is coming into focus later on in the weekend. Still have a protest coming up, right? We still have all that stuff happening. If that's your jam, you do that, right? If your jam is working and 3D stuff, you're going to have to do that. We need to affect change no matter how, in some way. Now, later on, we're going to have a few options. There's trines with Neptune and Saturn that favor networking within the art community. The possibility of a mass protest tomorrow and a Hallmark romance, reconnecting Occupy protesters. I just made that up, right? The people that protested Occupy, maybe they meet at the No Kings rally, and it sparks a romance. Oh, what a beautiful story, right? Does it involve flannel? Maybe. Could be springtime weather, right? Yeah, you might want to just wear a flannel for that rather than a full jacket. Could be. We all know flannel features significantly in those Hallmark romances, right? Especially the Christmas Christmas time ones. But that's just me. All right. I'm just saying, this could lead to a little bit of a logistical preparation for that event. So you just want to make sure that you're preparing for it and you're mapping out your routes and everything like that, or you're doing whatever. Making sure the clothes complement your chosen activity. Maybe you do need that flannel shirt. Who knows? Anyway, by looking good, we definitely feel good, and that's what we really need to do. So, our event is kind of interesting because it's like a twofer. Because on this date in 196 BC, the Rosetta Stone and others like it, because there were numerous ones carved, are inscribed with the decree of Memphis proclaiming the rule of the king of Ptolemaic Egypt, Ptolemy the Fifth. Now, we had Ptolemy doing an observation yesterday. Ptolemy V was actually said he's going to be king the day before, March 26th. So the same day that Ptolemy, the astronomer and astrologer, started making his observations is when the reign of Ptolemy V began. Not the same family. They're both Greek, but in I believe they're both in Alexandria too. Ptolemy, the astrologer, was definitely based in Alexandria, in Egypt. And that's what I have for you for that, right? Ptolemy V. King yesterday, proclaimed today on the 27th. That's the date on the Rosetta Stone. Kind of cool, right? Rosetta Stone takes the 3 languages and puts them out there. That's how we deciphered hieroglyphics, right? From Greek. And our birth is, well, me. And Sarah Vaughan. She's an American jazz and pop singer. She did Body and Soul and Broken Hearted Melody. Timeless classics, right? Send in the Clowns was one of her signature ones. She's known as Sassy or the Divine One. And she was born in 1924 on this date. And she died in 1990. And that's all I have for you. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for coming by. Hope you listen to this a couple of times, maybe on the day of. Who knows? Podcast, right? You're going to see this. We've decided about 5 o'clock, 5 in the morning for TikTok. We're going to try that, see what it does for the algorithm, see if it pumps it up, see if it takes it back. We will determine the time. The time will determine, viewership will determine what the time is. And that's all I have for you. Today, shall today be a good day? Yes, it will be. Today is a 7. Happy astrocatting.